Hey guys, and welcome back. This is going to be tutorial number 14, part 2. We are going to continue building this request that was done. This request in particular was a let's, when we attack, be able to select a weapon so that when we attack we can change our parameters and whatnot when delivering that. So we're going to continue that. We just barely finished being able to refresh what data we had in our list, but then we didn't have a method of drawing it, so we were going to define the draw method. So I've already gone and called our method here called draw item. So we're just going to go ahead and copy that, and then we are going to require a weapon and then a index. Okay. So what we're going to do is go ahead and first off, we want to know the index. We need to actually fetch the location of where we need to draw this, and Windows Selectable actually has a nifty method for this in VX. In RPG Maker XP, you would have to actually figure this out manually, since they don't actually have this method for you. So here, because we've already provided it a column max and a item max, then we should be able to figure out our spacing automatically. So we're just going to say item rect, and it will give us our index. Okay, so we'll come on back down here and we'll say item rect. So we will say draw rect equals, and then we'll pass it the index, and now we know where we need to draw, so now we just need to draw the contents. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually draw an icon in there for the item. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at window item, since it also draws the icon on it. And here, oh, they're doing it almost the exact same way. And so here they fetch the item, and then they determine whether or not it should be enabled, and then they say draw item name item rect x y and enabled. We might be able to hijack on this particular method. Draw item name, which is part of window base, and awesome. So we don't even have to really do much about this. All we have to do is supply it an X and Y, and we're good to go. So we're going to take item name, and then we're going to get a X and Y. So here we can go ahead and say draw item, and then let's see, in the window item, did they minus? They probably moved the just a hair to the left to make sure that the icon wouldn't be too overlapping here. They just took the width and minus 2 from it. I don't know why they did that, but oh well. We can follow suit. So we'll go ahead and say draw rect.x and draw rect.y, and then we pass it the item. In this case, it's not item, it's actually wep. Sorry, there's a little bug flying around me here. It's kind of annoying me. Alright, so I think that's all we actually need to do. So after that, it should automatically draw everything accordingly. So now we've got our equip attack window going here, and so now all we have to do is to call that window during battle. So let's go look at our battle scene and determine when we want to do that. So process action is after all of the select things, and here is our update actor command selection is I think what we're going to be looking at. Okay, so if index 0 when attack. Okay, so here's where we're going to insert our stuff. And so action set attack start enemy selection. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually do another little piece in between here, and that is going to do what we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to hijack when we grab this. So we're going to grab this whole method, we're just going to copy it, and we're going to come on down here and we're going to say class scene battle less than scene base. So if you come back up here and scroll all the way to the top, that's what it is. It's got to match. And then here we're going to say, or we're just going to paste in the data. Okay. Don't need the little help information there. We're going to go ahead and alias this method here. Attack or equip attack. Web. Okay. Equip attack web, and then we're going to tag on the name of the old method. We're then going to call the new method, or I'm sorry, the old method. But before we do that, we're going to grab this particular case, and we're going to trim it off before calling the old one. So we're only going to call the old one if this one doesn't first do something. Okay, so when 0, so we're going to insert our thing here. Alright, so when 0 and input equals C, then we're going to sound.playDecision, and then we're going to go ahead and call our new window, but we never initialized it yet, so let's go do that first. That was also part of Scene Battle where we do that. We're going to allow the create info viewport to do it for us. So we're going to let it go through all of that, and then alright, so we're going to copy that. I always find it most helpful when I'm aliasing any method to copy the entire old one, just because it always helps me in determining what order I want things to happen, so then I can see what's new code and what's old code, so I can quickly decide, you know, how where I should put stuff. So we're just going to alright, so we've got create info viewport, equip attack web, the old method. Oops, need a space there, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, and then here we define our info viewport, we go through and define our windows, and then we're going to go ahead and define equip attack win equals, and then we're going to specify our window equip attack dot new, and I don't think we needed any arguments. Nope, we don't. So that's all we need to do there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take that and say viewport equals info viewport. Okay, and then we're going to take and we're going to erase all of that, and we're going to put the aliased method of that right there. And so basically we are going to call the old method first to initialize all the old windows, then we're going to initialize these windows this window so that we can use it. So here we can go ahead and say, and then we're going to refresh with active battler dot, and I think it's just dot index. So let's go double check that. Let's see, actor index. And yes, it does return the index of the character. So we can do it that way, or we can do it manually. I just like using the method that's already defined. Saves me effort. But if you're in if you're in RPG Maker XP, then you have to do it manually since they didn't have a method for it. So, I mean, basically that's what you'll find in the difference between VX and XP is that VX has pulled out a lot of methods to make it easier for you, where XP, they didn't extract a bunch of little commands and stuff, so you have to do a lot of stuff by yourself through additional code that here is done as part of the main class and so on. So, alright, so this is going to refresh that window, which is then going to set that as the active, and I don't think we need to do anything else there. So what we need to do is we need to add another method now back to our old update for where we select which process action. I believe, well, it wasn't process action, but it was where process action was executed. Here we are. So part of our frame update here. So now it's going to, what we're going to do is we're just going to add a if, and then we're going to give it one of these. But we need to catch this before it gets down to here, because if it doesn't meet any of these criteria, then it's going to come on down here. However, the update actor command selection is going to force it to be, because we're not going to actually hide that window, we're just going to continue using it, but we're going to open up our other window first. So we're going to leave that as active, and I think that's exactly where we're going to insert. I think that's the one we were already working on. Okay, it was. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a return to the end of this. So 1, it creates it, and then 2, it goes back to the beginning, so it forces you to not continue through the old action. Okay, then we're going to use that other piece of information that we learned earlier, and we're going to put input C, and you can use the word and or the symbols, either or, and equip attack win dot visible equals true. Equals you have to have 2 equal to do a compare, 1 to do just a set. So we're going to say if it is equal to true. Actually, you know what? Let's set it active right here as well. Could have technically done it the other side as well, but I think that's probably the better one to go off of. Active equals true. Oops, 2 equals. Okay, so this window is active. So if this window is active and you press that, then it's going to go through and do this. So we need to have a escape clause, a cancel method. So we're going to say play sound.play cancel, and then we're going to hide the equip win active equals false and visible equals false, and then we're going to return. I don't think we need to do anything else. So when we hit C on this particular item, now we're going to perform much more like we were down here in the original method, which is that we're going to open up the enemy selection. But before we do that, we have to actually equip the weapon in which you select. So we are going to say, let's see, we're going to add a method up here called item, and then we're going to have that return the data, self.index, just like that. So what it's going to do is it's going to return the weapon. So then all we have to do is just call the equip method for the actor, and I think that should be it. Let's go double check how we have to equip the actor. Let's see, game actor equip. Equips equipment, equip type, item ID. Let's see. Let's see, if item is equal to nil, then 0, otherwise item.id. Okay, so equip type, and this is going to be weapon or shield. Alright, so we're going to say we're always going to equip 0. Okay, and then we're going to pass it the item, and we're not going to give it a test. We're just always going to set it. So let's go ahead and do that. So we want equip type is always going to be 0, pass it the item, and that's all we want. So we just got the method change equip and those two pieces. Alrighty. Let's go back down here, and then we're going to say, let's see, where were we? Right here. Alright. Active battler dot change equip, and then we're going to set a 0 here, and then we're going to pass it the equip item, and that's going to be that dot item, and that's it. Okay, and then we need to call the enemy selection at that point. So let's look back up here at how they did it in the old one, which was the same method name, so let's grab that. Okay, and it was start target enemy selection and set attack. So that's what we're going to set down here. Okay, and then we're going to play the decision noise. Sound dot play decision, and let's see, I think that pretty much covers it. Although we need a return at the end of that so that it doesn't go back and process this other code down here to make that other window back active. But in this process we also need to reset those two values back to false so that the window goes away. Alright, so let's go ahead and test that out. Now there is one other aspect I haven't covered yet, and that is that when you hit cancel, it's going to go back to the actor, but whether or not you want it to go straight back to the actor or whether you want it to go back into the weapon select screen is something you'll have to work out. So here we've got our fight. We're going to go ahead and say attack, and it says undefined method, and that's an array call for nil class. So data self.index. So it's saying data is not equal to anything, but it is up here, so that means it's probably not getting a weapon set. Why does it not have a weapon set? We'll initialize it up there just to make sure that we've got it. But why would it not have filled that up? Let's put data dot, well, I can't remember what it is, so we're just going to set it equal to that. I think it's dot clear. That'll clear it out. So, okay, let's try it again, see what happens. Not exactly sure why that didn't work. Okay, we'll talk to him. He should have given us our weapons. We can go ahead and say attack. Wow, it just totally crashed right there, didn't it? Let's go ahead and try to I honestly don't know. That's kind of strange. I've never seen it just die like that. Alright, open it up. Byte attack. Active equals for window equip attack. Alrighty, so active. Oh, I didn't spell active right. That would explain it. And right here as well. Okay. Let's try that again. Alright, so it didn't give us our selection window there. Okay, there it did, but that took a long time to get all the data in there, didn't it? But it's still not setting it to active. Oh, you know what it is? It's because we're not updating the window. As well as some general other stuff here. I think what we need to do here is say if this is active, then do this checking here. So what we're going to do is indent all of this code here. Okay, and then otherwise we're going to grab this. We're going to check for the input C, and then we're going to return. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then here we're going to just add a, if it's active, then update it. Okay? That's just a quicker method than editing the update method. Probably belongs more so in the update method, but it is what we can get. Okay, so we set attack. But it's still, oh, you know what it is? Index. We got to set the index as well. And then we have to set the other window to not active, otherwise it'll keep updating like that because that's controlled within it, which means that we can't use this at all. What to do, what to do. Let's see. Let's look back at here. Alright, so we can add it on to the end of the update process. See, they didn't really give us much room to make changes in here because there's no, it's always if this window's active, if that window's active, etc. Let's see. Let's do it. Okay, here's an idea, yeah. This is kind of a silly way of doing it, but because we can't just come in here and insert something right in the middle of it, we're going to duplicate some of the code, but not all of it for the update. Okay, so what we're going to do is come back down here into our method here, and we're going to have we're going to insert the update method, and then we're going to add an alias, update scene battle for equip attack web, and that's going to be less than update. And we're going to then go ahead and run the old update here. Okay, and then all of that is going to be conditional on this. So we're going to put this up here. Alrighty, so we're going to say if it's active, then do all of this. including the super method. And then alright, and so here it's going to have this code here. Now I realize this is probably not all that informative right here. I'm just trying to clean up some of this, but give us some options here. You know what? I don't really like that. I'm going to copy that out and we're going to make a method. We're going to call this update equip attack. Def update equip attack. All of that in it. Okay, so now it's got the if else etc. in there. And then here we're always going to return off of that, so that way there we don't actually ever get down to the old stuff unless we finish getting through this code. Okay, so the update info viewport, actually back down here we need to set the actor command back to false, but what was the actor command? Actor command window active, so we need to set that back to false. Which means up here we need to set it back to true so that it can go back to that actor. Okay, so I think that covers it. Alrighty. Oops. There I go for tapping the keyboard on accident. Alrighty. I think that is it. We'll try that. And I realize we're at 27 minutes, so we're almost out of time. We'll go and give it another shot and see if we can finish. Change equip for nil class. Update equip attack. That should only do that if that is active equals true. Why is it getting set otherwise? Wonder if there's just something clicking too quickly or something. Fight. Change equip for nil class. It is jumping all the way through that and all the way back to there. We're going to remove that so it resets the input. Try that one more time. Alright, well, I'm not exactly sure, so I'm going to keep troubleshooting that here in just a few moments, so see you for now.